And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avantes, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zeroshio.
What is up, gang? Sorry for not having an episode last week.
Yeah, I kind of want to touch on that for just a second. So, as you guys know, we did not produce an episode last week, and the reason for that is back when back when Versika and I first started podcasting back in 2012. One of the very first shows we ever did was a show called Casual Sunday Gamer. Um, and this was about the time we started going. If you guys have listened to the end of the audio, I always say check out youtube.com/ECMMOGamers. So ECMMOGamers was an idea we had for a podcast studio that would cover multiple titles and multiple shows. And when we first started this, we had a friend, real good friend of ours named Don Burnett, who was doing a show called Liquid Measures. And this was a beer review vidcast. He started doing this back in 2012, 2013. In fact, there's a few episodes from 2013 where Versika and I guest star. But when we first started talking about doing the podcast studio, we were like, we can't just roll up a studio with only one show. And so we started talking about making ECMMO into an LLC. And one of the things was we talked to Don about the possibility of bringing Liquid Measures under the ECMMO umbrella. And he agreed, and we kind of started this podcasting journey. And then out of that came Hero Power. And, you guys know, Hearthstone dropped in 2013, 2014, and it's been a crazy wild ride ever since. Don had a son born in 2013, 2014. He's 7. So yeah. And he had to take some time off from Liquid Measures, and then he came back and we did some episodes, did a few episodes after that. Well, unfortunately, I'm sad to say that one of our founding members, Don Burnett, passed away this month. He actually passed on May 5th from COVID-related issues. And last weekend was a tough weekend for all of us at ECMMOGamers as we laid Don to rest. So that was the majority of the reason we were not able to produce a show last week. Don's memory will live on forever in the Liquid Measures YouTube channel, which you can get to from our website, ecmmogamers.com, or just go on YouTube and search Liquid Measures, and his infectious laugh will be there forever. If you guys curious about a beer, I guarantee you he has tried it and can tell you exactly what to expect ahead of time. So yeah, go check out Liquid Measures. In Don's memory, though, we do want to have a moment of silence. All right. So thank you guys. listening, for allowing us to have this time to remember our friend and what he meant to us and our journey in podcasting. And
as Don would tell us, let's get back to work, boys.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, all right. So we don't have a whole lot to talk about. There wasn't a whole lot of news this week. Last week, as we mentioned, we did not do a show, but so we are going to touch on the patch 20.2.2 balance changes that dropped. So, Zeroshio, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, first, before we get to that, we don't want to skip over this. How was your week, man? I in lieu of, I know of everything else that you had to do last weekend, but in Hearthstone.
So yeah, last weekend.
What else you had going on?
Last weekend in Hearthstone, I didn't get to do a whole lot, obviously. Yeah, so when I joked that after everything that went on last weekend, I was excited to go back to work on Tuesday just to get some rest. And, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, I just kind of kicked back, played some Hearthstone. I've been doing a lot of Battlegrounds, and yesterday I actually had a really good day in the Battlegrounds. I had 2 first-place finishes back-to-back with Zarella and George. Those were a lot of fun in those matches. I mean, George with mechs and all the shields is just stupid good, especially if your opponents can't find a ghoul. I can't remember the name of the ghoul, but yeah,
the one that does 1 damage to everything. Yeah,
yes. Yeah. If they can't find one of those in the tavern, it's easy sailing. So it was a lot of fun. I actually only had. So I probably played about 15 games of Battlegrounds this week, and I think I only had about 3 that I didn't finish in the top 4 in one way or another. Wow. So it was a really good week in Battlegrounds.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds myself, too. I haven't been playing a lot of ladder, and not because I don't want to. I've just not had a ton of time, and I've wanted to enjoy other things like Battlegrounds. And then, of course, I've been prepping for THL and the like. I have been, and if you follow me on Twitter, you'll already know this, at Zeroshio on Twitter. I have been kind of having a personal battle with my weight since the first of the year. I had some health scares at the end of last year, and as of January 1st, I started my weight loss battle at 343 pounds. And today, my short-term goal is within 6 months, or by June 1st, I wanted to be under 300. And it is May 23rd today, and I am officially under 300 pounds. I haven't been under 300 pounds.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
I haven't been under 300 pounds in like 12 years, and my battle with weight loss is not over. I'm going to continue this, but this has been the hurdle. I've kind of been hovering around 305 for longer than I want to. So I finally was able to get over that 300 hump, and I just got to keep pushing. I'm excited for that. But because of that, I'm going to the gym at least 5 days a week, if not more. And I'm having to sleep a lot more because of how much energy I'm exerting, on top of how little energy I'm putting in my body with foods. I'm eating smartly, but I'm also cutting my calories. So I haven't been playing a lot of Hearthstone on the ladder.
Yeah.
But I did get Legend yesterday.
Awesome. Congratulations.
So I got it Friday because I had my THL match, which I lost on Friday. So I'm now 4-1 for the season. So I'm not undefeated anymore, but that's fine. It was a good opponent, and he just was one step ahead of me. And but I got Legend just before my match on Friday, and I'm probably gonna play a lot of Battlegrounds because the ladder is fun for me because I love Paladin. But unfortunately, it's it's a lot of the same thing. You're seeing a lot of mirror matches. You're seeing a lot of Paladin. I'm playing an off-meta Paladin, which we're gonna show today. It's ZachO's N'Zoth Paladin list.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I actually had a salty ad that turned into us becoming best friends because he was mad at how lucky I was, and then he was saying how he hated seeing Paladin, and then I was like, yeah, that's why I'm playing N'Zoth Paladin. He was like, wait, you were playing N'Zoth Paladin? I'm like, yeah. It's like, you want the list? He's like, yeah. So I sent him the code, and he was like, oh, by the way, I didn't say GG. So it was cool that I was able to turn a salty ad. He wasn't vulgar or offensive or anything. He was just like, you're super lucky. I was like, yep, I was lucky.
Yeah.
I got some lucky rolls off of Yogg, so off of the Yogg secret. But other than that, just kind of, I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as good as Avanti's is, but I've had a couple wins. I did get a win with Zyrilla. I got a win with Flurgle of all characters.
Good, yeah.
I was able to get a first place with him. I got a couple. I like to play characters I haven't played before, so I can get those achievements.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I do a lot of. Even if I see like a top tier hero, well, I played that top tier hero a few times, so let me play one of these bottom tier to see why are they actually bottom.
Yeah.
And are they bottom to me? Because a lot of times I do good in battlegrounds with characters with heroes that other people aren't good with. So,
well, I've got something. I've got something I want to throw at you that's not in the show notes.
Okay.
So last week, friend of the show Ben Hearthstone sent out a tweet, and I want to give you a chance to respond to his tweet live on the show right now.
Oh, and if you don't know who Ben Hearthstone is on Twitter, it's because you're typing it wrong. It's Ben Heathstone.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's his
is
username
his name.
at Ben_Heathstone, but Ben Hearthstone is his name.
I think it was a typing faux pas that he just never corrected, and because it's a meme now at this point, it's hilarious.
So anyway,
if you don't follow him, you should follow him because
you should. So here's the tweet.
Okay.
Hearthstone podcast takeaway for this week. Tavern brawls are at an all-time low when not even Ro or Zeroshio play or give them any attention. Hashtag Hearthstone at Hearth Casual at Hero Powercast. So Zeroshio, respond.
Yeah. So I have always been very, very diligent doing the Tavern Brawls every week. And a lot of it is I like most of Tavern Brawls. And a lot of times there's new ones. Also, there was kind of a merit to getting them because you got a classic pack, which I had a full classic collection, but I might get goldens of those. Well, now the pack you get is Year of the Phoenix, which isn't this year. It's last year. So I have all those cards, and getting those in golden aren't super important because at the end of the year they rotate. Where with the classic packs before, I at the time thought, well, those will always be in standard. Obviously, we've had that change with core, and it's a positive change. But to me, the pack rewards, they aren't current enough to hold my attention to do it every week, and they're not long-lasting enough for me to want to try to cherry pick and get some of the goldens out of there. So ultimately, they're just dust.
Okay.
And I kind of say, is my time playing a format that I really am not enjoying worth the dust? And the answer to that for me is no. Now, some people it is, but I'm a spender, so I do buy packs and buy bundles. So that dust isn't as important. Now, some people need that dust, and I'm not saying you're wrong for playing it. Now, if they do a Tavern Brawl that is new or exciting, or one that I like that Joe Mag did before that I enjoy playing, then occasionally I will play them. But so far, the quality of Tavern Brawl is just at an all-time low. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it's because Joe Mag is no longer with that team. He's moved on to Niantic and working great over there. I think that's where he went, right? Niantic?
Yes, that's where he went.
I'll say that's where he went. And I miss Joe. They haven't found anybody over there that has the passion and the creativity to make Tavern Brawls fun again.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that Ro was also in the same boat as me. And that really surprises me because they do Hearth Casuals.
Mm-hmm.
So he's even more towards, their podcast is more, you should check them out, more towards solo content than it is the competitive side or even on ladder or anything. They focus on things like the solo adventures, duels, and Tavern Brawl. So if Ro's not doing it, then I feel a little better because he, to me, is an expert of that content. And if he's not enjoying it, then I feel validated that I'm not enjoying it. But yes, Ben, I saw that tweet.
Okay.
And it's sad at the same time. But it doesn't mean I don't love Hearthstone. I do love Hearthstone. And it also is a good thing because that means there's so many different ways. If I was not playing Tavern Brawl and going and playing a different game, that's bad. But I'm choosing not to play Tavern Brawl and playing Battlegrounds or occasionally duels, not Arena. Hopefully they fix that one day. And of course, I'm a ladder player. So I like that Hearthstone has lots of different ways to play, and I don't have to do it all.
Mm-hmm. So one other Twitter thing I want to touch on before we move on to the show notes. If you guys have not been following the epic Twitter feud between the Blizzlet podcast and Squelchcast this week.
Are we talking about this?
Oh, God. What are you talking about? This was the single most important thing that's happened in the Hearthstone podcast universe in, forever.
Yeah, but there's a problem. Okay, go ahead and describe it and tell everybody all about it, and then I'll give my piece.
I'm just saying, if you're not familiar with what's going on, you need to go to at Blizzlet's Twitter page or go over to at Squelchcasts, read through their Twitter pages. This has been the greatest thing since Zeroshio going to BlizzCon. I'm just saying, it was that level of good. I mean, these guys, we love all of our podcast family. But there can be only one, guys. Blizzlet and Squelchcast.
And
flawless,
see,
we need flawless victory. Let's go.
This is my problem. Is now that we've talked about it, we as hosts of Hero Power, one of the, I guess according to the Twitter beef and the Twitter thread, we're one of the 5 Hearthstone podcasts everybody should be listening to. I don't know if I agree with that. But we have to take a side.
We did take a side. We took a side. Yeah.
And because Man-at-Arms is basically a third host of Hero Power, even though he's not on the show, he does a lot of work behind the scenes. He's in our production.
I never said we were siding with Squelchcast.
Why wouldn't we be?
Because
I see.
We
saying that Hero Power is split?
I am saying Hero Power as a show is on the side of the podcast with the most awesome podcast crew. That's the team we're on. You've got you've got Blizzlet's hosts, you've got Squelchcast hosts. We're on the side of the show with the most awesome cast. That's the show we're on.
Are you a politician? What? That is like the most dotted. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm siding with Man-at-Arms and Squelchcast. Sorry, but the biggest thing that came out of this that I think is hilarious is the fact that Ridiculous Hat was basically equated to the Thanos of the Hearthstone podcast sphere, and that he holds the Infinity Gauntlet and he's laughing at all of us. I think I called the Ridiculous Hat the Agent Smith to the Hearthstone Matrix that is Hearthstone podcasts. Or he's basically everywhere and everything. Because it's true. Because Ridiculous Hat is, I think he's guested on just about every podcast.
I stick to my point. There is still no proof that anybody but Ridiculous Hat runs every single Hearthstone podcast Twitter account. Including ours.
And including the Angry Chicken.
Yeah.
Sorry. Which is now, I mean, the Angry Chicken is the OG podcast, and everybody's obviously, you've heard of them if you're listening to our podcast, and we all strive to have the success that they have because they're awesome, and Garrett's done a great job with that show.
Yeah.
But now that Ridiculous Hat is a host on the Angry Chicken, it's almost like the Wizard of Oz and Garrett, the giant Garrett head for Angry Chicken. You pull the curtain back, and there's Ridiculous Hat.
Yep. So.
Because he has his hands in everything.
It has been a fun week to be in the Hearthstone podcast universe.
It has. And if you don't follow these podcasts, at least one of them on Twitter, you really should. Because all of them have great Twitter coverage and
or as the crew from Blizzlet would say, you bleeping should.
Yes. Yes, they would say that. They definitely would say that. But yeah, so before we get on to talking about the patch notes for 20.2, we're 20.2.2, and we're going to talk specifically about the Nerfs, buffs, and first day of school, pretty much. But I want to say now is a good time to be in the Hearthstone community. There has been tons of positivity, and yeah, there's negativity in every community. We've had some things in esports, been a little negative, things like that. But all in all, when you go to Hearthstone Reddit, when you go to the Hearthstone Twitter, sphere, the at Play Hearthstone, there's just so much positivity between XR's AMAs and Alec Dawson, giving us little tidbits of design philosophy and dev philosophy. And all the podcasts just exuding positivity. I love being part of this community. You and I play another game, Marvel Strike Force. Mm-hmm. And it is a huge game. And the Scopely, who runs Marvel Strike Force, they pulled in $300 million in revenue from Marvel Strike Force last year. So it's a big game. But there was just so much toxicity and negativity around the game and the developers, and basically players and developers are constantly at odds. And I like that we don't have something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. I know Blizzard's kind of, as a whole, as a company, has kind of gotten a little bit of a bad rap because of different layoffs or people leaving the company. But ultimately, at least in the Hearthstone sphere, I'm happy to be here. And I'm glad that this community exists, because honestly, it's helped me through a lot of negativity with this weight loss and a lot of stuff in my family and COVID. I've been able to cope and get through all that. When I'm running on the treadmill, I don't listen to music. I got podcasts in my ears. Or I'm watching esports on my phone. I'm watching a Grandmasters on the weekend, or I'm watching one of the Masters tours on the weekend, or I'm watching a Regis Kilbin video, to get through my workout routine. And I don't know if you can say that about anything else right now. So for this community and the Twitter beef, it's all a win-win, and thanks for being part of it.
There you go. All right, let's jump into these 20.2.2 changes. So first up, we are going to talk standard balance updates. Refreshing Spring Water got the nerf it so deserved. It went from a 4-mana spell to a 5-mana spell. So now, if you draw 2 spells from it, it's still going to cost you a mana.
This is first off, it's a positive change. Second off, I'm still seeing this deck the no minion mage.
Yep.
And this card is still in it.
Yep.
And I think it's a needed change. I don't think the deck is good, but it is played a lot. A lot of people just like the high rollingness. Now, it used to be you had this weird, 7 mana cap, and you didn't play Cthulhu. Some early builds did, but the optimal build, you didn't play Cthulhu. Well, now you're seeing the Cthulhu builds come back out again.
Mm-hmm.
And Refreshing Springwater is in that list still. It's played against me, and it's good.
Yeah.
But it's in a good spot. I'm happy for this nerf.
Okay, next up we have First Day of School. Now, Zeroshio, a little while ago you said nerfs, buffs, and First Day of School. So, First Day of School went from being 0 mana to 1 mana. That's a nerf. But it went from adding 2 random 1-cost minions, to adding 3 random 1-cost minions. That's a buff. So, what is it?
It's a change. and some people say, well, this isn't a nerf, this isn't a buff. It's just a balanced change. I don't even call this a balanced change. It's just a change. To me, this is a totally new, different card. It's like they deleted First Day of School and brought in a new card with a similar effect and gave it the same name. So the original version, the 0 mana add 2, was a very aggressive curve. You played it on 1, you could play one of the cards, and then you still had something to do the next turn or future turns. It was positive gain. Now that's more of a tempo play. It could be equated to just being card draw. So when you end a turn where you have 1 extra mana that you're just going to float, which happens all the time in Paladin in a tempo style game, you just play that to get 3 cards that you can play on future turns to give you extra tempo. Mm-hmm. So to me, this kind of fosters so First Day of School, the original version was very effective in an aggressive style. It could be put in other versions, but it mainly was an aggressive style card. Well, now it's kind of a tempo style, mid-range style card where you're using a card slot to generate 3 cards. Okay. So that gives you more tools than your opponent has. Some people are still putting in the aggressive style paladins, but I don't think it's good there anymore.
Okay, you don't think in an aggro paladin this is still a turn 1 play?
No.
Okay.
Because it's anti-synergy. You're playing this and not playing anything. And you don't want to do that in aggro. You do want to do that, however, in a tempo or a mid-range style deck. And that's my favorite type of paladin. So I'm still playing this card. And we do have it in our deck this week from ZachO, which is a N'Zoth Paladin.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have a nerf to Hysteria. So Hysteria was 3 mana. It's now 4 mana. They said at 3 mana, it became an option before opponents really have the opportunity to consider how to best interact with it. Pushing it to 4 gives more space for those board committal decisions to occur, and also allows cheaper removal in Priest Warlock to have a more distinct purpose. What are your thoughts, Zeroshio?
So a couple things about this card that's interesting to me is, first off, Matlock is dead, because Matt at Arms made a Matlock deck that ran Kazakus. Well, you can't run Hysteria and Kazakus, correctly or optimally in the same deck now. Mm-hmm. Also, while in Priest it's still being ran because you're usually reducing the cost of your spells anyways, and you really don't care that Hysteria you could make Hysteria 5 and it likely will still be played in Priest. In Warlock, you kind of have to make some choices because Warlock runs the Soul Fragment package, and some of the Warlocks ran Kazakus. Mm-hmm. Now you can make the choice to pull this out, pull Kazakus out and put and keep Hysteria in. And also, the problem is Cascading Disasters is also 4 mana. So it's kind of competing. You usually played Hysteria on 3, and then if they develop after that, you then played Cascading Disaster on 4. So some people are cutting the Hysterias from the Control Warlock. I'm not, because it's still the Hysteria will still corrupt the Lucky Soul Hoarder without having to play play your Cascading Disasters before corrupting it. So I still think it gets played. It does slow down that Control Warlock significantly. You don't have a very good turn 3 option. Used to be, if your opponents, especially something like Token Druid, developed heavy on turn 3, you could respond with Hysteria, and you can't now. So you have to find a way to absorb that damage. But in Priest, yeah, they haven't even skipped a beat with this card. It's still very playable in Priest.
Okay. Next up, we have a changed Crab Rider. So Crab Rider used to read 2 mana, 1/4, Rush, Wind Fury. So now they've changed it so that the Wind Fury only lasts until the end of the turn on which it's summoned. So it's now
it's a
Battle Cry, gain Wind Fury this turn only. I mean, this card, especially in Warrior, was getting buffed to absolutely huge proportions and then just wrecking people. So I feel like with this change to making Wind Fury this turn only, the card is still usable, and it kind of takes away from the lethality of the card.
So yeah, a lot of people predicted it would go to 3 mana or become a 1/3, and most of those people said that it would still be played and be a very good card if those changes were made, and that they didn't think there was a good way to nerf Crab Rider without destroying it. I think this is a good nerf without destroying it. Now, mind you, a lot of people are cutting them. I really think there's a Murloc build, and I think they wanted Crab Rider to be in a Murloc deck. The one problem with Murloc decks is they don't have any real good clears, but Crab Rider against another aggressive deck can clear and still stay on the board for future Murloc buffs. Do I think they have the cards for a Murloc deck in any of the classes right now? Shaman right now is so split, and we'll talk more about them. Between Murloc and Elemental, they need more tools. I think I said when we heard about this card that 4-set metas are horrible when it comes to tribal decks. And that doesn't change anything. But if we start seeing more sets have some tribal synergies with Murlocs, Crab Rider might end up seeing more play again. And I'm still seeing some decks still play this. Because even if you can play it to clear a couple small minions and keep a body on the board, they have to deal with it. I mean, sure, it doesn't have Wind Fury, but it's still a body they have to deal with. And if you buff it in any way, Shield of Honor with Warrior or anything like that, it can be a pain. I do think this is a very creative nerf, and I like that they didn't touch the stats and the mana on this. We'll just have to see if the card becomes relevant later. I have not, kind of spoiler, I haven't dusted any of these cards, because so far, Crab Rider is probably the only one I think's a little bit in the unplayable category, but I want to have the card in my collection later, just in case something comes out for Murlocs.
Okay. All right. And the next change comes to Olgra, Mancrick's wife. So this is the spell that goes into your deck when you play Mancrick. They changed the spell to say cast when drawn, summon a 3/7 Mancrick who immediately attacks, where it used to be a 3/10. So they've reduced the amount of health by 3. This doesn't really have any effect on playing Mancrick, does it?
No, I mean, the big thing is a lot of people were saying it was kind of silly that Mankrik gets so angry that Alexstrasza can't even kill him. Because he's a 3/10 and Alexstrasza only does 8 damage.
Right.
So I think thematically, so the big thing with the 10 is in the storyline, I guess, in World of Warcraft, Olgra's favorite number was 10. So which is why he was a 3/10. And this makes sense because 3 plus 7 still equals 10. So thematically, they kind of held that. But at the same time, it's still a big effect. And a 3/7's something you got to deal with. And it already does 3 damage to your opponent, which that doesn't change. And I found it funny when you logged in after the patch, they showed all the cards that were nerfed. And Mankrik just had his box circled, but nothing changed. So because nothing changed on Mankrik, it changed on the spell he shuffles. So I would like to have seen in the client a little more clarity on this, because people that don't listen to podcasts or don't read the blogs wouldn't know what changed. So other than that, it's still playable, and I still see it in decks.
All right. So next we have buffs, and there were this was probably the most buffs we've ever had in a single patch.
Yeah, but they're also probably the least impactful buffs.
Fair enough.
A lot of people were expecting, before we get into them, a lot of big buffs that would really shape the meta, and these buffs weren't for shaping the meta. Now, there's some decks that have come out of the woodwork because of these buffs, but ultimately they're not that impactful in the meta, and it's not like a new archetype is born because of them. Right. Like we saw with Pocket Galaxy.
We are seeing some of these cards that were not played beforehand being played in decks now. So,
and I think this is more just for future balancing. I think these cards, these buffs might be focusing on what we might see, what kind of decks Team 5 wants us to see when they start doing the mini set, maybe the second set this year.
Yeah. All right. So first up was the minion Razor Boar. So this was a 2-mana 2/2. It's now going to be a 2-mana 3/2. So it gets a buff, 1 stat point to attack.
Yep, that's good. Death Rattle Demon Hunter is a thing right now.
Yeah.
It's like a tier 2. It's not amazing, but it's a solid way to play Demon Hunter other than OTK Demon Hunter.
Next up, we have Dark Inquisitor Zanesh. So this is a priest legendary. It read, Battlecry, reduce the cost of all corrupt cards in your hand and deck by 2. So they've updated the text to say, reduce the cost of all corrupt and corrupted cards in your hand and deck by 2. So I'm assuming the issue with this was if you had already corrupted a card and then play this, it wasn't getting the correct reduction.
Yeah, and I didn't know it wasn't. I thought it was working this way. And a lot of people thought it was working this way. And evidently it wasn't, which makes me think that nobody played this deck. This corrupt priest.
Yeah.
And so, Team 5 is like, why is nobody playing this corrupt priest? And then finding out, oh, wait, it's only doing the corrupt cards. Once you corrupt them, it's not reducing them. That's what we want. Because it wasn't like people tried corrupt priest and it wasn't good and people stopped playing it.
Right.
People just never started playing corrupt priest.
Right.
And now this change is made. Now you're seeing corrupt priest. And it's a good deck. I think control priest is a better deck with the spells, because based on statistics just alone, it's better. So I don't think this necessarily makes the deck amazing, but it's being played more because it's kind of been, Team 5 basically said, hey, we want you to play Corrupt Priest.
Yeah. All right, next up, we have a change to a card that's been in the game since the beginning, Unbound Elemental. So this used to be a 3-mana 2/4. Well, it's getting a boost to its attack rating. It's now a 3-mana 3/4.
Yeah, so when they made the core decisions and they talked about a lot of the minions and told us a lot of minions that were staying, there were quite a few that had either their mana adjusted or their stats adjusted. And I was really surprised Unbound Elemental didn't have anything changed. Because Overload just isn't the mechanic it used to be. They're even putting out a lot of cards that have Overload on them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a positive change. It's a 3-mana 3/4, which is base stats now. At the time when Hearthstone first released, 3-mana 2/4 was, that was good. You were kind of looking at 3-mana 3/3 being the base stats, and you'd adjust that 6 around a little bit. Well, now 3-mana 3/4, Spider Tank, is as everybody always said, is kind of the base stats. Anything in the text box after that is just positive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think it's going to make it more playable, but it does show us that in their priorities, they want us to play Elemental Shaman.
Yeah, and this next change also is to a Shaman, which I think is one of the most impactful changes of all of these buffs. That's just me personally. And that's to Tidal Surge. So Tidal Surge was a 4-mana nature spell, lifesteal, deal 4 damage to a minion. Well, they reduced the casting cost by 1, so now it's a 3-mana nature spell, lifesteal, deal 4 damage to a minion. I mean, that just makes this card that much more versatile.
Yeah, also it makes cards like Brukan a little more alluring, because now this kind of nature shaman, spell damage shaman, it's fluid right now.
Yeah.
This to me tells me it would be more of a control style shaman, and then you're basically trying to control the state of the board, and then you have a big burst of damage later. But this is giving tools to that spell damage shaman in a control style aspect, and I like it. Now, Shaman's not really being played right now, and I hope they give a priority for Shaman in the mini set and don't wait till the next set this year. But I think this is going to be relevant when the mini set comes out. I'd like to see Shaman be good again. It doesn't need to be top tier like Evolved Shaman was, but I think it needs to be good. I think it was Ridiculous Hat on, I want to say Coin Concede, talked about along with Edelweiss about kind of where Shaman needs to be and where it's not at, and the fact that they're splitting their focus, and I really think that they need to give Shaman identity.
Yeah,
they really do. It needs an identity.
So there's yet another Shaman buff, and that's to Lilypad Lurker. It was a 5-mana 4/5. It's now going to be a 5-mana 5/6. So again, great base stat increase. Doesn't even take into before you even get to the battle cry effect. So I mean, that's a good buff to that card.
Yeah, and the battle cry, let's remind you, it's battle cry if you played an elemental last turn, transform an enemy minion into a 0/1 frog with taunt. So basically it has a hex built into it.
Hex on a stick.
Hex on a stick. And now it's on a 5/6 body.
Yeah.
And in the meta right now, that turn 5 is an important shift turn where you're seeing the big death rattle minions or just big powerhouse minions come down. And this isn't a spell, so the can't targeted by spells doesn't matter, which isn't so relevant right now. So I think if Elemental Shaman can be a good archetype, it's going to be a control style archetype, maybe more like a mid-range style archetype to control, and Lilypad Lurker will be pivotal. I don't think I like this over reducing it to 4 mana, because if you reduce to 4 mana, you're probably going to wait till turn 5 or 6 to play this anyways because of the type of minion you want to hex.
Right.
So I like that they made this a 5/6, and it's going to be tough. It's just outside of Flame Strike range, so it's going to be tough to deal with.
Yeah. All right, next up is a Warlock. The first of 2 Warlock changes. Fiendish Circle. It's a 4 mana summon 4 1/1 imps. Is now going to be 3 mana summon 4 1/1 imps.
I didn't even remember they kept this in core.
I knew it was in core. I know it hasn't really been used, and I don't foresee it particular being used unless you are specifically keeping it in your deck to combo with Plague of Flames to clear a board. And then even then, that's a 4 mana clear.
And that's also wild. That's not even relevant.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So which it doesn't disvalue that statement. It just says that this isn't a change for standard.
Yeah.
Now, I do think there may be a
that shows you how much I play standard.
Yeah, there might be a world where Zoo comes back and having these bodies are important, but they're gonna. So the one thing that's always driven me nuts about Warlocks and Demons is there just isn't a lot of demon synergies. Sometimes they'll have a card or 2 in a set that has demon synergies, but ultimately there isn't a demon spec for Warlock that's worth playing, or that has enough synergies to make a deck around it. And until that happens, I just don't see Fiendish Circle being good.
Right.
I know there's things that if you sacrifice a demon, but I'd rather just play one cheap demon instead of a 3-cost spell that gives me 4 1/1s. This looks like it should have been a druid card.
Yeah, okay. And summon Trance instead, but yeah.
Yeah, tokens or something. It just, I don't think this makes, unless they have some kind of plan for the mini set, which this might be evidence of a plan for the mini set. It'd be nice. I don't think this change does anything.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna knock out the rest of these pretty quickly. We've got some other stuff to talk about. So Warlock, Deck of Chaos. It's going from 6 mana down to 5 mana. That's the one that swaps the cost and attack of all minions in your deck.
I've actually seen this played.
Since the change?
With Circus Clowns.
Okay.
Because now they're 4 mana 9/9s, and who cares if you corrupt them? Summoning 3 4 mana 9/9s? I mean, sure, it's not on turn 4. But yeah, 3 9/9s for 4 mana?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. And if you happen to corrupt it, it's huge.
All right.
It's not top tier. It's like tier, I'd say maybe even tier 3 deck, but it has promise.
Next up, we have Whirling Combatant. This was a 4 mana 2/6 Battle Cry and Frenzy, deal 1 damage to all other minions. It's now going to be a 4 mana 3/6, so it got a boost to its attack.
And it's still not being played.
Yep.
And then Frenzy mechanic's not really been like a archetype.
Right. Yeah. So then the card that I have been seeing make a comeback in a lot of decks is the Warrior class Shield Maiden. So for those of you who don't remember, Shield Maiden is a 6 mana 5/5 Battle Cry, gain 5 armor. They've reduced it to now it's only 5 mana 5/5, gain 5 armor. This card, out of nowhere, has started being played in just about every single Warrior deck I've seen.
Control Warrior's back on the menu, baby.
So
I have been playing a lot of Control Warrior with a lot of success.
Yeah. And then, as if it wasn't enough, N'Zoth, God of the Deep, going from 10 mana to 9 mana, which is part of the reason we're going to be playing N'Zoth today.
Yeah, so since this change, first off, a lot of people have said, Now you can N'Zoth and Broom, Animate Broomstick, which is a huge swing because you're filling your board and you're clearing the board. Also, N'Zoth followed up by my brain's blanking, but Oh My Yogg, the Yogg secret from Paladin. Your opponent then has to go, okay, I have this clear for the board, but now I have to have another spell to test for Yogg. And even if you Yogg and play any other secret, they have to act like it's Oh My Yogg. And I think it was Wicked Good, and on the pod people pointed out that it's just a debilitating play on turn 10 to be able to Yogg followed up by Oh My Yogg. And it is one of the strongest late game plays you can make right now, and hopefully we'll be able to show that in the play portion.
Yeah. All right, so there were quite a few other updates to Battleground minions. Specifically, they were balancing the new Quillboar tribe. So we will have a link to the show notes, or a link to the patch notes in our show notes over at heropowerhs.com if you guys want to check those out. There's also a couple of Duels Treasure Pool updates and some various bug fixes and game improvements. So yeah, head over to heropowerhs.com to check those out.
Before we move on, I have two questions. First, do we think the nerfs were enough for the current meta?
That's not a question for me because they don't affect me in the Battlegrounds.
I do think they're enough. I like where it's put the meta. Paladin is still on top, but it's not as big a difference. And then secondly do we think the buffs are even relevant?
As we talked about, there's a couple of them specifically that I think matter, but for the majority, I'd say for 80% of those, no, they didn't matter. But for the other 20%, like I said, we're seeing Shield Maiden played in just about every deck. I think it makes a big difference to the Shaman spell. Drawing a blank.
So we've had this
Tidal
situation
Surge.
before. We've had this situation before. We've had buffs, and then later they've had to go back and revert those buffs. Are there any on this list that you think
are so OP they need to be they may need to be reverted later? No.
Yeah.
Not a one.
So I'm going to say no in the buff list, but I personally think that there will be another adjustment to first day of school before the end of the year.
Okay.
Either they go back down to 2/1 cost, or they increase the cost again, or they adjust the pool. Because what if it was Discover?
I think Discover would be even better.
Would it? Because
yeah,
then you won't get any.
But then you get to choose.
Yes, but think about.
So you're saying if it was Discover one 1/cost minion and add it to your hand.
No, just Discover 2.
Okay, yeah, I think that would be even better.
And you choose it twice. Here's why I don't think it'll be better. The times that first day of school is broken is when they get a non-paladin, non-neutral 1-drop. Like the Gnarg that gives them a 3/2 weapon. Or the Hunter minion that gives them a secret.
So do you think first day of school needs to only pull from paladin and neutral?
Which you do that when you discover. Discover is only from your class and neutral, right?
Okay.
So it would be making you have more choice, so you will get a better quality option, but you won't have the option of getting things outside of your class or neutral pool that you couldn't put in your deck. Because I don't know how many times I've gotten the Soul Jailer and shuffled Soul Fragments in my deck, and later that healing has been relevant.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think it shouldn't give non-paladin, non-neutral 1-drops.
All right. Well, there you go. That brings us to this week's Tavern Brawl, which is Captain Blackheart's treasure. The captain left treasure for everyone, but mostly for me. Each turn, open a chest of 3 random cards. Choose one to put in your hand. So, if you guys aren't familiar with this, you get a deck that is nothing but pirates. It's the 2 mana, 2/3 pirates. And then you discover a card every turn to play as you go. I like this. I love the Discover brawls. So yeah, I've already done this and gotten my pack and moved on.
I will probably do this one today. I like this brawl. It is frustrating because sometimes you don't get your win early because it's random.
Mm-hmm.
But I will probably play this once or twice, and when I'm done having fun, I'll stop playing it. If I get my pack, great. If I don't, I don't.
All right, so that brings
which is how I think Tavern Brawls should be.
There you go. That brings us to this week's deck list. As ZachO mentioned, we are looking at N'Zoth Paladin by ZachO. So I'll run down the deck list and then kind of let ZachO talk about it just a minute. It's 2 Righteous Protectors, 2 Oh My Yogg, 2 Knight of Anointment, 2 Galloping Savior, 2 First Day of School, 2 Conviction, 2 Sword of the Fallen, which is recently nerfed, 2 Red Scale Dragon Tamers, 1 Murger McGurgle, 2 Hand of a Doll, 2 Northwatch Commanders. Then you've got Kazakus Golem Shaper, 2 Carousel Griffin, 2 Hammer of the Naru, 2 Dragon Maw Sky Stalkers. Then you've got 1 copy of N'Zoth, God of the Deep, and 1 copy of Alex Straza, the Life Binder. So, ZachO, first thing, we just talked about First Day of School getting nerfed. You're also running Sword of the Fallen, which recently just got nerfed. So, obviously,
they're still good.
They're still good. Yeah.
Yeah, so the important thing is when you're mulliganing, you really want to get the Oh My Yoggs early. So you either want to get the Sword of the Fallen or you want an Oh My Yogg in your hand because you want to disrupt those first few turns because you're not really developing much on the board. You're kind of building up to like the turns 5 and 6 turns. So on turns 5 and 6, you want to be dropping things like, your Kazakus Golem or a Dragon Maw Sky Stalker to be able to corrupt your Carousel Griffin so you can play it on 7. And you want to start having your big beefy minions get in the way. Taunt is a problem right now. A lot of decks have trouble dealing with taunt. And flooding the board with a bunch of taunts can be debilitating. So if you do get Red Skull Dragon Tamer early, that's also good because you want to get those Dragon Mauls on 6. This list is from ZachO. If you don't know ZachO, then you really should go over to ViciousSyndicate.com. ViciousSyndicate.com is a great source for meta decks, especially in the legend ranks. And they do a podcast, the Vicious Syndicate podcast, with Ridiculous Hat, of course, because he's everywhere. He's in the Matrix. ZachO and Ridiculous Hat talk about the meta, and this is ZachO's list. ZachO's usually on the pulse of the meta sometimes. He tends to he bases a lot of his deck building based on statistics that he's pulled from Vicious Syndicate. Sometimes moments before they put out their reports for the week. So if I see a ZachO list, I usually will try to play it right away because he tends to have the jump on the meta, and it's definitely done well here. This is the deck I took to Legend. I am currently 24-8 with the deck. That is a 75% win rate. Okay. And I did that from the Diamonds up into Legend. So this is a good deck to play right now. It throws people off. They don't expect to see N'Zoth. You'll get a lot of wows from your priest, I promise.
Well, I'm looking forward to checking it out. So, all right, that pretty much is going to do it for us this week. If you're joining us on YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty. I just need to launch Hearthstone. You are driving this week, that is correct?
Yes, and I'm checking my spectate. It is on.
All right. Oh. Dude, one thing I have found in Battlegrounds this week, does not matter what tribe you run. At 5, you want to start getting triples to find Charlga, or you want to get to 6 and get Charlga and just let her start pumping your team.
Charlie is amazing. She just, yeah, I mean, they nerfed Charlie, and she's still really good.
I'm going to say thank you, Blizzard, real quick, for my daily quest. Watch a friend win in spectate mode.
Nice, nice. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Your Skype's a little frozen up for me. Or you have a box over it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There we go.
How about now?
You're good now.
Okay.
I couldn't see OBS activity, but I'm assuming it was just because the other window is prioritizing over in Skype. So we are in the Legend ranks. So if this is the OTK Demon Hunter, you kind of need to be selective on your Oh My Yogs.
Okay.
You want to be able to disrupt them. I like playing an early Galloping Savior, so they think it's Oh My Yog, especially if they're on the coin, so they almost throw away the coin.
Both Oh My Yogs in our opening hand. So do we keep them both, or do we throw one back?
Because he has coin, I think I throw one back.
Okay.
Because I don't want to devalue the Sword of the Fallen. We're probably not going to play it on one, though. I just want to keep it in my hand so I can choose when to play it. If he plays his coin early, I will likely play it. Sword of the Fallen.
Sword of the Fallen, that's good. So do we just lead with Righteous Protector?
Thank you, Righteous Protector. I expect him to hero power that down.
Well, I mean, he won't be able to hero power it down. He'll be able to hero power down the Divine Shield.
I mean, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I expect him to hero power it and hit it and not develop anything.
Well, that's fine with us, because now we're going to play Sword of the Fallen, and we're going to swing into him, right? For 2?
Yes. I hope we get Galloping Savior, because again, and we did. What Galloping Savior? What he's gonna think it's Oh My Yog, so he'll probably play his coin. And if he plays his coin, he's going to probably play more behind that.
Yeah.
Oh, so he tested Oh My Yog with Illidari Studies without using the coin. Okay. 2.
That's probably all he's gonna do. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would. Ooh,
that's great. We are drawing right into our curve.
We are. So we're going to watch command first before we swing.
We draw into Carousel Griffin. Okay.
And sometimes Carousel Griffin on 5 is just the right play, because I think... So do we swing and guarantee us an Oh My Yog? Or do we make him test more?
I don't hate guaranteeing an Oh My Yogg at this point because
It thins our deck. Too.
it does. It thins our deck. Plus, he's got it on 3. He'll have to deal with it on 3, and we still have the other one in our hand that we can play on turn 5 or 6.
He can coin to test for the Oh My Yogg now.
So there's Razor Boar. Okay.
I would love for him to use the coin and Shadow Step that Razor Gore. Because that's something that'll your sequencing is real important when you're dealing with Oh My Yogg. Okay, so this is really a great turn
for first day of school. Yeah,
because we don't really have anything going on this turn, so this can give us tools. Okay, so Reliquary of Souls is good.
Yeah.
The Guardian Og Merchant's not bad.
That Frazzled Freshman is not bad in conjunction with the Conviction in our hand.
It's not. What do you think about just dumping all 3 of these and Og Merchanting the Commander and just going face?
Yeah, do it.
That way it has Divine Shield. He can't make an even trade into it without popping it with his Hero Power or something.
And then depending on what we draw, we could have just that 5 mana 5/5 Divine Shield.
Okay. So you did test with the coin.
It becomes a backstab.
Backstab your own minion. Oh, that would have been great. That's fine.
That's actually better than fine because he could have run the 3/2 into that 2/1.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been very efficient. Okay, this is a good conviction turn.
Yeah, I think so.
Like you said, with red scale. So my Carousel Griffin's not bad to do on 5. I mean, it's a 5/5 with Divine Shield. It checks the boxes. But if you can draw the red scale tamer, which will guarantee you, well, not guarantee at this point, but it's a high likelihood we'll get Dragon Maul Skystalker.
Yeah.
So I like Conviction here. I want to do it before
you want to play Conviction first to guarantee it hits the 2 minions that are on the board.
So we're going to trade in the freshman.
Yeah.
We're going to go face.
Then we're going to play the red scale.
Play the red scale, and then I think we go ahead and Oh My Yogg again, right?
I don't hate it.
No. Okay, so...
Or do you want a hero power?
Let's hero power, because we want to save this Oh My Yogg until he wants to play Skull of Gul'dan.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, on turn 6.
So this next turn going into his 6 is when we want to play it.
So he just played Illidari Studies. Into Fury.
Okay.
Into Fury.
And now a 3/4 pops up with Tom.
Yep.
So either he's... Okay, so he's planning for that. I don't know if I agree with that trade. So we just got to trade with the... and he's even
with
trade.
the red scale, Dragon Scale Tamer, yeah.
So we can play the Dragon Scale. The problem is, if we draw the Dragon Maul Skystalker, we're going to want to play it instead of the Oh My Yogg.
Okay.
Which means we don't play the Oh My Yogg going into it. So let's see what we draw. I think we Dragon Maul Skystalker here.
Okay.
This does give him the the Skull of Gul'dan, but I think this is a better tempo play. And next turn we can play the Oh My Yogg along with the Carousel Griffin and the Righteous. Okay, so he didn't Skull of Gul'dan. I'm not sure if Skull of Gul'dan's in this list anyways. I think there's at least a one of. He also played Illidari Studies.
Yeah. So now, do we Oh My Yogg Carousel Griffin? Or do we not? Well, I guess we should not have Anointment first. See what we draw.
So if we want a righteous, that's what we do. But I don't think we righteous protector because we'll have a divine shield taunt in play.
Right, right.
So I think we
Well, we
Knight of
won't have
Alignment first.
we won't have a. Oh yeah, it is corrupted. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's corrupt. That's why we play the Dragon Maul. It's
Ooh, conviction.
I don't think we do that now.
Oh yeah, I don't either, but it's nice
I like the Carousel Griffin and the Oh My Yog.
Okay.
And then we just go face with this, right?
Yeah, absolutely, because he's down to 2 cards in his hand. He's got to.
He has to punch his face into this.
Yeah.
Because even if it pulls out the rush death rattle, it's still not enough.
There's the skull.
Yeah,
Yes.
the skull is in. Yes.
Oh.
What's it give him? Give him crystals. It gave him crystals.
Nice.
So he didn't even get to draw off that. Oh,
that's
debilitating.
huge. That is absolutely huge.
So your Oh My Yog placement, when you choose to play it, is very important in a lot of matchups, and this is no exception.
Yeah.
We kind of lucked out. I think if we would have played it on 6, it still would have been the right play. Because I don't even think he played any spells that turn.
Right.
But yeah, I think he might have. No, he played the weapon. So yeah. He didn't play any spells that turn, so it still would have been the right play. When the priest is a tough matchup, but if I can hit the that spell that reduces the cost of all their other spells in their hand and discovers a spell, if I can hit that on turn 3, I try to.
Okay.
And here we got a priest. So I like the Righteous Protector. I don't think Red Scale Dragon Tamer is on 2 is super important, but I think we still keep it.
And just throw back Alex Straza.
I think we just throw the Alex Straza. I want to see Sword of the Fallen or Oh My Yog.
Okay, we drew Kazakus.
This isn't a bad hand, though.
Yeah.
Ooh, we drew one of the Sky Stalkers.
Yeah.
So we just play the Righteous Protector.
Pass the turn. Yep.
This is a tough matchup. And he's on the coin, which makes the Oh My Yog play a little... Oh, that's so bad.
Oh, now there's no point in us keeping...
No, there is. We'll draw Alex
Oh,
Straza.
Alex Straza. That's right, yeah.
But, I mean... We don't want to draw the other Red Scale Dragon Tamer now. That's it? So this tells me it's almost guarantees he has
Raised Dead.
Raised Dead.
Yeah.
But I think we have to trade into it.
I agree.
Then Hero Power and Galloping Savior.
Yeah.
At least if he goes a little nuts. I don't see him. He wants to get more than just a Sethic off the Raised Dead.
Yeah. Next turn, depending on what we draw, we can Kazakus to have a play on 5.
Yeah, I think we Kazakus next turn.
South Sea Scoundrel.
What?
Discover a card in your opponent's deck. They draw theirs as well. So we know what he's getting.
That's main deck.
Yeah, and he took a Carousel
That's
Griffin.
Amazing.
Okay, so Kazakus and Swing Face for 4.
Yeah, let's Kazakus for a 5 cost.
Yep.
So Stealth, Divine Shield. We want Divine Shield.
I think
right?
we want Divine Shield. Yeah.
Trying to go for the 2 copies of it.
Yep.
So I'm going to copy this.
Yep.
So is that what we're going with?
Grom's Blood. Yeah.
Okay. Then face.
Yep. Swing 4 to face.
So we got the Golem on 5. Then we can either go probably Hammer on 6.
Yeah. And then Dragon Maw to corrupt the Carousel Griffin.
What? What is he doing?
Well,
so now he knows that secret. Ooh.
He doesn't know that secret though.
Doesn't know that one, but I don't think we play.
I don't think we play it this turn either. No.
So we Kazakus and a dude into the 5/4, right?
Yes.
And then we play the Golem and go face.
Yep.
There's Paul. I love hitting my Oh My Yog hitting palm reading.
Yeah.
So when I see a palm reading, I'm like, oh, I could have Oh My Yog that. 2, okay. This is fine, right?
I mean, we're gonna play the hammer, so
So he's deciding now if he wants to raise dead, because if he raise deads, then he pops our galloping savior. So do we hit that with our face and then
why don't we
goes?
why don't we play conviction first? Use 1 to clear because he won't gain any health because it's not doing any damage, and then go 5 to face and well, what else would we do? I mean, we could. Oh
We
my
won't be able
Yog.
to corrupt the Carousel Griffin.
No, but I mean, it's still a 5/5 divine shield.
Yeah. I think we owe my Yog and just hero power them.
Okay.
So we conviction, oh my Yog, hero power.
Okay.
Run one of these in. I mean, he won't gain health anyways because he's at full. But
Well, yeah, that's true, but still, we're still getting 8 to the face here.
And what the Oh My Yog this turn does is it makes sure that Hysteria isn't as viable an option.
Yeah.
So he's using Renew to test for Hysteria. So, or test for Yog, and then he plays Hysteria.
Soul Mirror.
Soul
Okay.
Mirror. Okay.
So now we Hammer of the Naru
Go face.
and go face. Yeah.
You can't play the Galloping because... See, and we're not playing the Galloping,
Uh-huh.
which kind of tells him that's Galloping. He's already tested for Oh My Yog.
Right.
Or,
Right.
You know, he's already popped the Oh My Yog. So he knows this is Galloping. So which kind of, I mean, remember old Rat Trap?
Yep.
And nobody would play more than 2 cards because they didn't want to pop Rat Trap. It's the same problem here. He has to deal with it eventually, or we're going to get more tempo.
So he killed our 6/6 taunt and played his own 6/6 taunt.
Yep. So we know that's Galloping Savior.
Yes, we do.
So if we Hand of Vidal that, we can clear it and it'll still be up. Mind you, it'll have 1 health.
Yeah, and he gains 8 health back.
That's fine.
What about... I was thinking, what about playing the Griffin and making him trade into it to clear the Divine Shield, and then next turn we would have Alex Straza to clear a taunt if he plays it, or that's 16 damage to face.
So you're saying play the Carousel Griffin, right?
Yeah.
And then do we Hand of Vidal?
Yeah, we can just go ahead and Hand of Vidal
the
and
Carousel
clear it.
Griffin?
Well, I mean, we don't have to. We could Hand of Vidal the Golem and clear.
I don't like that for Hysteria.
Okay, then yeah.
Because if we Hand of Vidal the Carousel Griffin, he can actually, if he Hysteria is the Carousel Griffin, it will still stay alive.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't now. Well, I mean, I guess technically it still could. No, it wouldn't stay alive. That's right. So now he wants the Hysteria.
If
I was him.
If he Hysteria's the Carousel Griffin and it hits the Scorpion first, it would.
No, it wouldn't stay alive.
Well,
then it would
you're right. It would
8,
clear. Yeah. Okay. So how do we clear this? Do we go Alex Straza? Okay. So we have to figure out: are we going to Alexstrasza the 8/8 or the 6/6?
I think we Alexstrasza the 8/8.
Okay, then we use our face to clear the Divine Shield, right?
No. I think we use our Carousel Griffin to clear the Divine Shield. Then we Alexstrasza the 8/8. We trade the Golem into the 6/6.
And use
and
our
then
face
we use
to
our
clear
face
the
on the
1/3.
Scorpion, so he can't use the Scorpion to clear the 10/10.
Okay.
And then if he does Hysteria, the Carousel Griffin will kill Alexstrasza, but not kill itself off.
Okay.
That's what you okay with that?
Yeah.
That gives us the most pressure. I know it seems like loss of value, but that look how much that has. That's 18 on the board.
But we don't expect it to stay on the board.
Ooh, N'Zoth. Okay.
Do we Northwatch Commander first?
I think we start. I think you're right. I think we start with Northwatch Commander.
So we're looking for not that.
No. I think we Sword of the Fallen, because we're probably going to pop that Divine Shield with our face anyways.
Yeah.
If Sword of the Fallen, we'll get Omayog.
Okay.
And then we can do trades from there.
Yeah.
The problem is right now, if we play anything else, he's going to get a 3/4 taunt.
Right, and we don't have a way to get rid of the 1/3, the 1/3 Scorpid.
Not right now, no. So we Carousel Griffin into their Carousel Griffin, right?
Yep.
And we 8/8 into their 6/6. Hero power?
Yeah.
And stop there so we don't give them a 3/4?
Correct.
We're eventually going to have to. But I want to dictate things a little better. Love to get our N'Zoth. Especially after... Oh, wait. The Soul Mirror he got was discovered.
Yes,
so he
it
still
was.
has a Soul Mirror in the deck. This is a tough matchup. Okay, so that hit Palm Reading. That's good. Turns into... I-Beam. Oh, hit Scorpion.
Oh.
Couldn't hit a better target.
Yeah, really couldn't.
Scorpion in the 8/2, 5/5 into 3/4, and then he just goes face.
I would.
Okay. He wants to keep the Scorpion alive, so he'll use the Scorpion into the...
1/1. I think unless we can draw our N'Zoth, we're pretty much done.
We're in a rough spot, but I think we do need our N'Zoth. He is really valuing the trades, which is good. So let's start with first day of school.
I think so, yeah.
Nothing great.
No.
I want to play a Dragon Ball Stalker because I want to corrupt the Carousel Griffin.
Okay.
But then I think we have to stop there because we don't want to give him another 3/4. And nothing we do is going to be that impactful.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I think we just hear our power. Yeah, nothing we would have played would have been stronger than a 3/4. Those skeletal dragons are so strong. I almost forgot they existed. And you don't see them main decked anymore. Oh, he's going to bounce that back to our hand. It did its job.
Yeah.
This is so... looking at my statistics, my win rate versus Priest is 2-5. It's the only negative win rate I have.
Gotcha.
So Priest is a tough matchup. There's his off. You're gonna play it, right?
I think you have to, yeah.
Good bit of taunts. Do we go ahead and
Play Conviction?
let's play the we don't get a lot of control over the conviction. Let's play the Galloping
No, but
Saber.
it makes the trades. I mean, it could make the trades better, but
True, but what will we get better from the pluses to the possible trades, or
I'm thinking
the 3 cards,
just
2 cards.
If it were to hit the 6/6 or the 5/7, that makes them possible trades for the dragon. But
Yeah,
that's fine. Go ahead.
If it hit them.
So
if we do the Galloping Savior, he's limited to 2, or he has to deal with another 3/4 taunt.
Yeah, that's fine.
All I'm saying is I think we were gonna get minions alive. Ooh, that's a good burn. I think we're gonna have minions alive for conviction to be good on our turn, and the Galloping Savior just helps us more now. If that makes sense. These are tough trades.
Yeah, he could double trade into the 8/8.
I wouldn't want to do that. Something he wants to target his minion or our minions with. He is
Nightmare.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow. Some really smart choices. See, the conviction would have hurt us against Soulmere.
Yeah.
It could have hurt us. I say would have. It could have hurt us. There's a 3/4.
And that's game, because I don't think we have anything else to do to be able to deal with this board.
So we can put out the Carousel Griffin. Trying to think what we can do to buff up. We can't do Carousel Griffin and Hammer of Naru.
Correct.
So we're clearly going to want a Carousel Griffin. Going to want a Knight of Anointment. So we Hand of Adal the Murloc. We're going to give him the taunt, but I don't think we can help it here. We're going to go ahead.
Use the Murloc to clear the taunt.
Yeah. Well, no, I use Murloc to clear the...
oh, okay, yeah.
Skeletal... Well, probably the biggest one, the Dreaming Drake.
Well, I mean, the Skeletal Dragon's giving him resources every turn.
That's true, but... Can he trade through this? 1, 2... That's only 8 to us. We're still technically alive. My thought is if he does efficient trading, he's going to be trading off the Skeletal Dragon anyways. To me, this isn't... Ooh. Cobble Acolyte? Is that main deck? Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. What he's wowing. That's a good minion for him to have. I do think we lose this, though. This, like I said, this is probably the one. This is the only bad matchup that, according to my stats.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a good game, though.
Yep.
I don't know if there was any decisions we could have made to change that. You want to play one more?
Yeah, let's play one more.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, finished quests. That was a good game to have a play 30.
Yeah.
On the track, I've hit 100. I've hit level 100 on mine. Have you?
Not yet. Somewhere in the 70s.
Gotcha. Yeah, I went ahead and got the Matt Damon Anduin because
Nice.
I already had the Uther one, so I went and got Anduin because to me it was, other than the Jaina, it was the most different.
Yeah.
So right now I'm using Zyrella because I just like that character. I can't wait for her mercenary book of mercenaries to come up. Oh, almost got a stream sniper. Oh, another priest. This is such a bad matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, this is literally the bad matchup. So he is not on the coin. What do you think here?
I think we keep one of the knights
And the galloping?
and the galloping.
So I want to play the galloping early to kind of make him think it's Yogg. So maybe you make some. Ooh, we got a Hand of a
Some
Doll.
suboptimal plays, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would start with the knight. I would probably wait and play the galloping on turn 3, or
Yeah. I think you're right. I think we hold the galloping because I mean he's not going to play 3 cards.
especially if he plays into Sethic Veilweaver.
Oh yeah. So we Hand of a Doll the knight.
Yep. Go face.
Red skill. That's good. Do we coin out the galloping to make him think it's Yogg, just in case he wants to play the palm reading?
Yeah, I don't hate that.
So he might try to think it's Yogg, so it'll keep him from wanting to play the palm reading. He'll play a suboptimal spell. Maybe he'll play the healing spell, the 1 mana one that lets him discover a spell. Oh, he does play the palm reading. Wow, that's brave.
Yeah. He had no fear.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how you have to do it in this matchup. It just surprised me. So again, we got both Dragon Ball Stalkers before we can play the. Ooh, there's no Yogg. So my thought was we'd want to play the Red Scale Tamer over the McGurgle because it doesn't get punished by Hysteria. But if we play the McGurgle now, you want to Hysteria that board. So we also play the Oh My Yogg.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
So then we play the Oh My Yogg. Now his Hysteria could be 3 mana because of the palm reading, but it'd make him have to play a buffer spell before the Hysteria anyways. There's his buffer spell. Backstab. Please turn into Backstab and hit McGurgle. It didn't. It turned into Raise Dead on nothing. Oh.
Wow.
That hurts. That hurts. He healed for 3 and then it went 3. That's tough. No, nameless one. Where's the galloping? That's good.
So we're still a turn away from making Conviction useful. Do you just?
I mean,
do we just red scale hero power and send everything face?
I don't hate that. What do you think of popping the McGurgle to pop the Divine Shield off, though?
Why? I mean, it's not.
Well, first it puts McGurgle in our death pool without giving him possibly another McGurgle later. We want the McGurgle in the death pool for N'Zoth. And it pops the shield, so he can't make a trade without taking some damage on the McGurgle.
I mean, I guess
So we still play the red skill and play hero power.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go face with these two. The question is, do we pop that divine shield?
I mean, might as well at this point. Yeah.
I mean,
because he'll use it to clear the 3/4 taunt, and then we can, if he doesn't clear the 1/1, we can use it to clear it next turn.
That was my thought. Also, if he does Hysteria something here, it's just not going to die to a divine shield.
Yeah. Zanesh. Okay.
Wow, he's running the spell package and the corrupt packages. Okay. So he's not healing that. So he didn't save any mana.
So clear with the 1/1.
And then we conviction.
Conviction.
Then we follow the Night of Anointment.
Night of Anointment. Yep. Just since that has already gone off, do we just go face with the 11? Or do we play that again and see that would be 9, 10, 11,
I mean, it could
12,
hit the 1/1 still. But it could essentially be 17 damage.
It could be 17 damage this turn, yeah.
It could be. Let's see if it hits. It doesn't, but that's fine. Maybe we just go face.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of get punished by Apothecary by not clearing that. Yeah, he's got the Apothecary because he emoted. No, he doesn't. Oh, maybe he does. Yeah. Ugh.
Oh, well.
Well, I mean, we're setting up if we can stay alive. Well, we might be able to. So we drag them all, Stalker.
Yeah.
To corrupt the Carousel Griffin. And so next turn we're going to Carousel Griffin. Probably hero power, or depending on what we draw. And then 8, we got to figure out something on 8. And then we have N'Zoth on 9. That was I do believe that was the right play, though.
Do we N'Zoth on 9, or do we Alexstrasza on 9, N'Zoth on 10 to possibly get Alexstrasza back?
We can. I mean, that's also an option. The thing is, my thought was with N'Zothing on 9 is if we N'Zoth on 9, it gives him a board, and we might be able to have Alexstrasza for lethal.
Okay, so
Carousel Griffin definitely happens.
Yep, and then we're clearing the 3/3 with the 3/4.
So now I can't double pop. Do we hero power or do we righteous?
Hero power.
We don't righteous.
I mean, is it?
I guess it doesn't really matter.
Gonna really make a difference?
Right. I don't think it is. He could Hysteria, but it could go bad for him. This isn't a very good Hysteria. Soul Mirror. I love seeing the Soul Mirror now because he won't have it for N'Zoth. All those righteous protectors are great now, right?
I think so.
So we play them all.
And then double righteous and
double righteous.
Yep.
And now we have Alexstrasza to deal with the 8/8.
Yep.
And then we can N'Zoth.
Yep.
If the board state stays the same, I like the idea of Alexstrasza before N'Zoth. My thought is, would you rather get an 8/8 or would you rather get a 5/6 that turns into a 3/4 on Death Rattle off N'Zoth? Do you really want Alexstrasza off your N'Zoth?
I mean,
yes, it's bigger, but it's less sticky.
It's true. It is less sticky.
A simple board clear deals with it. Now we got, unless they heal the 4/6, we got to even trade.
Yeah.
Have we had a Dragon Ball die? Yeah,
No,
we've had a
he's gonna Alex Straza.
That's fine. We Alex Straza his Alex Straza?
Yeah, I think so.
And we just hold, right?
Yep.
Because he still has to put both of those into that minion. Then we can trade our 8/8 into the 8/7 and then possibly get right back off N'Zoth. If that's how we want to go.
But do we want it back off N'Zoth?
The thing is that it takes up a board space. Ooh, Hysteria. Okay. Oh, I was hoping it hit the 8/7.
Nice!
Yeah, that's good. That's probably the best. Not corrupted? But yes, corrupted.
Very much corrupted.
So we trade in the Righteous Protector, then we N'Zoth, right?
Yes, that is correct.
We go ahead and just first day of school.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, we got a mana. That's not bad.
Reliquary, yeah.
I just don't know why Reliquary Souls isn't an elemental. Maybe it's not. We trade, double trade? Not going to double trade. Okay. That heals.
So, Hammer clears 1.
Hammer clears 1, and then Emerald Talon, Hand of Adal clears another.
Yep.
It leaves us 1 mana. We could Reliquary.
Yep.
I like that. Then Talon, and Hand of Adal. Trade that, trade another. Then we just Reliquary Souls, right?
Yep.
We're not bad. We're not in a bad spot right now. Got board clear.
Play the other Carnival. Corrupted.
Oh. Wow. He probably has the...
I mean, we knew that was coming. And yes, he probably has the Oxeron.
So I'm on first day of school first. That's not a buff. So we're going to trade Alex Straza into one of these, right?
Yep.
And then Og Merchant on the 6/2 and trade?
I mean, yeah, that's fine. And then Reliquary face into 1.
We're still dead?
Yeah, I think so.
Trade 1 and 12 damage, so yeah,
We're still dead.
Still dead. You just dump everything. Yeah, we're still dead. But again, like I said, Priest is probably the worst matchup.
Yeah.
For this deck across the board. So, don't get discouraged if you face Priest. Just shelf the deck for a little while. All you're seeing, So, every other matchup, like I said, even the mirror, I'm 7-2 versus other paladins because I'm mainly not seeing this deck. I'm seeing other paladins. It's good against other paladins. Every other class hasn't beat me. I haven't faced any shaman except for Hunter. I'm 1-1 with. So Hunter might be on the fence. I don't have enough data for that yet. Surprisingly good against Rogue. I thought it'd be bad against Rogue, but Paladin's historically good against Rogue anyways. It's 3-1 versus Rogue. Again, these are my stats, so they're a bit truncated. But yeah, it's a good deck. It's a good ladder deck. And you will probably get some hateful
ads.
And take that as a win. Turn him into a friend. Actually, I turned him into a friend and a possible listener of the show because I gave him my show link and told him to check out the show, and he said he would.
Yeah, of course you did.
Of course I did, because that's what I do. So since I'm doing it, Walk Revival. Shout out to Walk Revival. He's actually a pretty good guy. He's still on my friends list. So
Yeah.
like I said, he wasn't vulgar. He wasn't offensive. He was just like salty, and he even admitted to being salty. A good guy though. You're allowed to be salty. I don't mind.
There you go. All right, gang. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you've not done so already. And for details, check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/heropower. Until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys.